Let's talk about the greatest Zelda game ever made, A Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo. There are games that you remember because they were great at the time, and then there are games that make you realize just how much everything that came afterwards borrowed from them. And Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past is firmly in the second category. Released in Japan in 1991 and in the West in 1992, this was Nintendo going back to the drawing board after the very different Zelda 2. Miyamoto produced the game with Takeshi Tezuka eventually taking over as director. Development was really difficult. Nintendo had originally hoped to have it ready much earlier, but adding to the enemies, story elements, and the game's enormous new world, this pushed development back by months. But it was worth the wait because the end game was amazing. Hyrule feels enormous even now. You can start with a simple mission to rescue Princess Zelda, and before long you're exploring forests, mountains, caves. Then comes the big idea, the Dark World, and suddenly the same map becomes a whole new game. And this was just a clever visual trick from Nintendo just to get it onto that small cartridge. Combat is really simple. Link's sword swings in an arc rather than simply stabbing forward, and then tiny changes make enemies fighting very natural. The hook shot, you got Pegasus boots, the magic mirror, and other items. They're not just collectible, but everything changes how you play the game. Graphics are arguably some of the best on the Super Nintendo and shows what 2D adventure games could look like. The colourful graphics look really fantastic even today, and the music, oh wow, some of the most amazing Zelda music, and some of the tunes are here to this day. And critics knew they were playing something special. Reviews were largely positive. GamePro gave it 5 out of 5, NMS Magazine 96, and Super gave it 93%. But let's not forget, it directly influenced what many think is the best Zelda ever, the best game ever, Ocarina of Time. 5 years later, I know it's controversial, but I would say Link to the Past is the better game. If you were to play Link to the Past today, there's nothing really to forgive. It's still as playable now as it was in 1992. There's no bloat, it's just straight to the point action adventure. And more than 30 years later, Link to the Past doesn't feel like an old game, and it deserves to be respected because of that. The graphics and music all still stand the test of time, and this is definitely a 10 out of 10 game.